We are at the press conference of RTP on Eurovision 2018 with Portuguese commentator, and he's also on the creative team for next year's Eurovision, Nuno Galopim. Hi.
Hello, again.
Again?
Yeah.
Finally we're here.
Yes.
The slogan was announced, all aboard, for Eurovision 2018.
Ain't it beautiful?
It's beautiful, yeah. And the slogan is so compelling, and everyone is like, yeah, all aboard the Eurovision train, all aboard the Eurovision boat. We're ready for next year.
We live in the same house, which is a planet. It's blue, so all aboard. It's our home, it's our common place to be, sharing diversity, all identities, all aboard.
And talking about the slogan, take us on the creative process that was arriving to this and to the 12th concert.
It was a kickstart for everything that we're going to have around Eurovision Song Contest 2018. There's a narrative that is the main structure of the visual identity, the concept for all acts in the shows, for what we're going to program in the Eurovision Village, for a blue carpet, which is something
No
new.
red carpets.
No, blue is the new red. Why not? And this narrative kickstarts in this idea that we, Portugal, are of course an European nation, but we should never forget that we got in touch with the whole planet by sea for the last 500 years. And that amount of portion of the globe that we covered makes 70% of our common home, which is something for us to preserve. Otherwise, things can go wrong. So we should be in touch with that idea. Oceans are ours to fight for. Besides that, Lisbon is a city that's been the harbor for all these trips going away and coming back from all these parts of the world. Therefore, it's a city of multicultural identity. It's a city of diversity. It's a city of tolerance. What more could you want for a Eurovision Song Contest supposed to be?
And Mr. Nuno Galopim, the executive supervisor for Eurovision, talked in the press conference about this year that we're going to have a Eurovision with history and Eurovision with a strong cultural background. What can you tell us about the connection that the shows are going to have with all the other things that are going to happen around the city?
Things are going to be reflected in the shows. I said today a bit about what's going to happen in Eurovision Village. We're going to have expressions of what is Lisbon's nightlife, modern, sophisticated, multicultural. We're going to have expressions of our relationship with other nations through our language. Portuguese-speaking countries will be reflected in the programming of Eurovision Village. Also, our relationship with Europe as a place where music has been blossoming for centuries and centuries. There's an European cultural musical identity that will be reflected also in the Eurovision Village stage, and an approach to youth, which is a very important part of the Eurovision Song Contest audience these days. This all be around the Eurovision Village. What I can tell you about the shows, these ideas will be reflected on that. And for now, that's all I can say.
Talking about now going to our national selection, the Portuguese national selection.
It's going on.
Festival Canção. It's going on as well. You're in the creative team as well for that one. How is the process going? How is everything going?
It's going wonderfully. We went up from 16 to 26 contestants this year. It's not exactly the same thing we did last year. Last year we had invitations only made by RTP. This year we added something extra, which is the ability of the winner, meaning Salvador or Luísa Sobral, to pick up somebody they can invite to join this team of composers, and also some others selected by the radio station, by the National Public Radio Station, Antena 1, which is also part of RTP. So now we're going to have a bigger selection of what's happening in Portugal these days. Like last year, different ages of composers, different forms of music, different tastes, all reflected in 2 semi-finals. We're going to have a final with 14 songs, and one will be the 50th representative of Portugal in the Eurovision Song Contest.
Are you aiming for a win again?
Always. Why do you go?
It's the new common in Portugal. Clearly, we want to win for victory every single year.
We should be in everything to win, always. That's the way to do things.
Coming back to the logos RTP created for this year's Eurovision, you opted to create 13 different identities that are going to be around the city. What can you tell us about the process of not selecting only one visual identity, but 13 different identities?
That's also a reflection of the idea of diversity. That's very, very much part of the narrative. Lisbon is a multicultural city, is a city of diversity. So why should we have only one image and not a family of images that inhabit the very same place? So that's, instead of having just one form, we have a family of them, all inspired by plankton, by little creatures from the sea. They are the building blocks of life. All life on Earth comes from there. So, and the first forms of diversity actually were born in the seas, in these very small creatures that started inhabiting the oceans millions of years ago. So we have them aboard as well.
That is great. Last question. What is the next step for RTP and the team that is behind Eurovision 2018 after this announcement to the public? What's the next step for you guys?
Trying to sleep.
Are you going to be able to sleep until May?
I hope for 3 hours today, yeah. Well, things are going on. There's a production team, there's an events team, there's a creative team. All teams are being led by a great executive producer. And we have this common enthusiasm among us that drives us, even if we don't get that much sleep.
Yeah.
But that's Eurovision, no?
You'll get deserved sleep next July, let's say.
I'm planning on that.
Next July only.
Next July, maybe.
One last message to all our fans and people that are excited to come to Lisbon. What do you have to say? What is Lisbon now that fans can enjoy in May?
Well, Lisbon is a very, very exciting place to be these days. It's a city where modern Europe is being expressed in all different forms of activities, from its economical side to the cultural events, but also is a place where all the world gathers here. We have communities from all over. So that multi-ethnicity is very much part of our DNA. It's going to be part of our Eurovision Song Contest as well. Besides that, what I can say, well, join us and come aboard. We're going to want to have all aboard. Most people want to know when tickets are going to be available for purchase. Do you have any idea to when that's going to happen? On that day.
That you cannot tell me.
On that day.
Well,
you know me, I'm a journalist and all the tricks.
You know all the tricks, and we're staying without a date.
Sorry.
But hopefully soon.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Not the day before, not the day after, on that day.
On that day, yeah.
On that day.
Thank you for joining us.
It's always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to meet you and talk to you. And we'll meet soon, because I'm pretty sure we, journalists and the team and everyone in this country, is all aboard for Eurovision 2018.
Believe me. Yeah. I strongly believe we'll be all aboard. And you guys
need to be all aboard as well.
Yeah.
See you later.
Come aboard. Bye.
Woo.